Here's how you perform a vaginal squeeze. In my last video, I explained what squeezing actually is and how it's one of the many, many skills you can learn in the art of vaginal gymnastics, the practice of mastering the pelvic floor muscles to enhance your sensations in the bedroom. And you can do many skills: squeezing, milking, locking, twisting, ringing, massaging, many, many skills. Let's start with squeezing. And I explained how squeezing is different than doing a Kegel. When you Kegel, you contract your muscles up, you basically lift your pelvic floor muscles up, and then you release down. With squeezing, you're activating your lateral walls. So you're narrowing the vaginal canal, you're pressing your lateral walls together. You can watch that first video for an overview. In this video, I want to explain some more differences and some ways that you can tell the difference between Kegels and squeezing. So the first way to understand it is that when you contract, it's kind of like a bicep curl when you do the Kegel. So a Kegel would be like lifting with your bicep. So you're lifting up. My bicep is actually looking kind of nice. Anyway, so you lift up, you lift the dumbbell up. Whereas when you squeeze, you're flexing your muscles. Doesn't look that good, actually. So the difference here is that in one exercise, you're actively lifting something. And in another exercise, you're doing what we call an isometric contraction. So you're pressing your walls together, you're flexing the muscles. So flexing versus actively moving. So when you do this flexing motion of your pelvic floor, you pressing, you flex. What you're going to be doing is you're going to basically be doing this and closing with your lateral walls. And what we're doing is we're trying to direct that energy to our lateral walls instead of our front or back walls, because we can also do our front and our backs, but that's a video for another day. So one key difference is contracting or Kegeling versus squeezing or flexing. The second way to think about this difference is with your lips. So imagine that a Kegel is like sucking inside of you. So you're going like this with your lips. You're sucking in. Whereas a squeeze is bringing your walls together, like puckering your lips. And some people feel like when they squeeze, they kind of very ever so slightly kind of feel like a little push. You're not actually pushing with your pelvic floor muscles down. You don't want to be doing that. But when you bring your walls together, like in this flexing motion, it might feel like a slight push down. Very, very slight. It's not the same as power peeing or delivering a baby, nothing like that. That is a completely different move. What we're doing is just we're flexing our muscles, and sometimes with that flex, it might feel like a bit of a downwards direction, but it should be very, very, very subtle. So these are two ways that you can think about squeezing versus contracting. Now, the best way, I think, to understand this is to buy the book. It's just $10 on Kindle. With this book, you're going to learn all the exercises in vaginal gymnastics, and you're going to be creating your own. So check it out in the first link in the bio.